Great to have you two back on the show. John, your first time on the show. Thank you for joining us. Here's the album, ladies and gentlemen, and the exciting news is you must be thrilled. It's just gone to #1. Congratulations. So how did it come about? How did you two start working together? What was the kind of the beginning of this partnership?
Done Nebworth. John come down to play on one of the tunes at the end, and so in the rehearsals leading up to it, I hadn't seen him for ages, so I said, what have you been up to? And I've been writing some tunes. So he was singing him, and he went, well, you are.
Wow.
And I was going to have a year off and that, you know what I mean? So, it's his fault.
So you'd been writing with his voice in mind?
Not until Nebworth rehearsal.
So who was your first choice? So how do you write then?
You were looking out for a girl, weren't you?
Yeah.
Ended up with this sort.
I need new management.
And were you always on the same page? Like, did you have something in mind from Liam, and did he always sort of like, did it always gel?
I don't know, man. What do you mean?
Well...
This way you're going to have a pop now, aren't you?
No! No.
Go on.
Just relax. Just relax. I'm not your brother, all right? No. Well, have you ever seen these guys live? Together
unbelievable. I feel like I'm dressed like their manager sat here, though. Just like the annoying new one that's been
like
sent
our
from the
tour
office.
Magician.
Yeah. No, I was at Nebworth. It was unbelievable. It was amazing. So like, I'm buzzing for the new live show. You start next week with a tour.
Wednesday,
Yeah, can't wait. So, yeah, it was unbelievable. Nebworth was amazing. So, yeah, it's great. Especially as well, and this is... Don't want to kiss your ass too much, but it's very exciting for me to be on this sofa with you two. Like, your music, when you're a working-class kid, hearing these songs... It's magical. It makes you feel like you can go off and do things. And I think Kevin Bridges spoke about it before. I think a lot of young working class people have been influenced by the lyrics and also watching people go and dominate the world with their music. It's really inspiring, and I loved it. To see it live was like quite a magical moment.
I thought the lyrics and the attitude that particularly you had when you started out was that kind of like you were doing it on your terms, which was refreshing.
I was inspired by John's band, you know what I mean? Like, he was the first band I ever went to see.
So how old were you when you saw the Stone Roses?
15, 16.
Yeah.
And that was it, changed my life. I thought, you know what, that's it.
Did you know, when Oasis happened, did you know that you helped create this band, John?
I found out much later.
obviously meant quite a lot to you. So, John, you live now... Is it you live on a farm or you have a farm, is that right?
I live on one, yeah.
OK. Is it a working farm? Do you actually do farming on it, or is it just you've got the space of a farm?
No, there's some sheep there, but I'm hands-off.
You've got to be two hands on the sheep.
Here's what I'm really interested about you two in particular, and you've both been through a very similar thing, which is you are both part of very, very successful bands, very important bands, and it's kind of, I imagine, you know, it's a huge life experience to go through that, to create something and then to put it out in the world, it becomes a big success. And then both of you, the band's ended, for both of you. When the Stone Roses was kaput and you left what was left of them, what was your first kind of like, the first few months like for you?
I think I carried on writing songs. Eventually got another band together, the Seahorses. Then had loads of kids.
Very productive way to spend the energy. Liam, for you, when I was...
Swear the pub.
Okay. But longer term than that first evening, or the first week. Because something...
I had a lock-in in the pub.
Yeah.
Stretched it out.
There's a track on the album. I mean, I like the whole album. The whole album's great, and congratulations. But there's the last track on the album. Is it Mother Nature's Song? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just kind of about, I guess, reconnecting to nature. Is that right? Is that something you've been through?
I'm digging it, me, man. As you get older, I like walking the dog and that round the woods. It's nice, man. I'm the new Goldilocks.
And, John, let me ask you about animals, because I know you've got some sheep.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine. Do you have any pets? Or are the sheep pets, or do you have dogs, that kind of thing?
I've got a dog and a cat.
Dog and a cat?
Mm-hmm.
You have dogs?
I've got nothing to contribute. I've got 2 dogs, and I've got a cat, And I've moved to the... I grew up in the city.
So you've moved to the country as well now?
Yeah, and I don't know if you've always been on the farm? Have you always been out there?
No.
No, like, I don't know about you, but I was quite shocked with how many animals there are. I always knew there were animals, but it seems like there's slightly too many.
What, you mean the quantity or the variety of animals?
Both. I've seen them all. I've seen pheasant, partridge, deer, badger. I ain't seen a fox.
Wow.
They're all in Lewisham.
Yeah.
I could move for a fox in Lewisham.
You ever seen a woodpecker?
I have seen a woodpecker.
That's mad.
They're mad, aren't they?
You've adopted a dog.
Yeah.
Now, where did the dog... What's the dog's name?
Buttons.
Buttons. Where did
Don't be
you...
laughing, man.
Yeah. Buttons is a perfectly good
It's a
name for
top
a
name.
dog.
We're all thinking of you in your hiking boots shouting buttons and you're leaning down.
Depends, man, how I say it. Sometimes when there's no one about, I say it really in a high-pitched voice.
They-
And she understands it and that, but when there's a couple of people about, I go deep like Barry White, I go buttons, and she doesn't understand it, and she's going, what's
You know we need...
going on here,
You show us.
dickhead? She needs the high-pitched voice, you know
So
what I mean?
if no one was here and you had to call your dog, how would you do
Yeah.
it?
Oh, it's high, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, let's have a listen.
Oh, no, you're all right.
So you got her from where?
Thailand.
Thailand?
Yeah.
OK, how did that come about?
Because we follow this geezer, this Irish lad who rescues them. And they've been all battered and stuff and beat up and that. So we fell in love with Buttons, and then he flew her over from Thailand and then got her on a ferry from Amsterdam, and she's mega.
That is a well-travelled dog.
Yeah, man.
OK, there's a short film, which I believe that
Yeah, she's
gentleman put
big
together,
age.
of Buttons making it over. And look at this, she's a very sweet girl.
She's
Look at her.
amazing.
That's a lovely story. That's a lovely story. Buttons. But it's weird, though, until you get a dog, I don't think you realise how much you're going to love that animal.
Yeah, it's terrible, man. I don't want to go on tour no more. I want to stay at home with her.
Can't you take Buttons with you?
No, I doubt it. I don't know if she'd like it, man.
Especially if you've got a gig in Thailand, what panic she's going back.
Yeah. It's Glasgow, more Glasgow, innit?
You're going to get any more? You're going to get a friend for
Nah,
Buttons?
I'm going to just keep it as it is because she's perfect, man. Don't want to be spoiling the party, you know what I mean?
Rob, I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
And you're going to know where I'm going to wind up with this question is...
Yeah.
You used to work with your brothers, didn't you?
Yes.
Where did you work?
So we worked in a pub together, also Cafe Uno, like a restaurant that's now doesn't exist anymore.
Does
so-
Cafe Uno not exist?
No, it's gone. But I've got 4 brothers. 3 of us work there at this point. And I know you sort of where you're going with this, but it didn't work. I find it difficult working with my brothers, so I don't know how you managed for so long.
And so what did you find difficult about it?
But you bring the dynamic from home into work, which is another stressful place. So if you've had a row at home about who ate the last bit of bread just before the shift, and then you're at the shift, and then you're nicking each other's tips, having a row, then you go home and then they tell mum what you did or what you didn't do.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. And so when people always go, why didn't you get back? I'm just like, I could probably see why. It's probably a nightmare.
Okay. So I'm going to ask the question. You know this question's coming, of course.
No, don't. What's the question?
The only reason I'm asking you, I wasn't going to ask you, but because I read recently that you and Noel were talking again, and there was a chance you might think
I
again.
haven't spoken to him. I haven't spoken to him for about 10 years.
Wow.
2009, I think. Don't start that.
I think because people who don't understand necessarily what went on or what goes on, they feel like maybe you're missing out or maybe he's missing
No,
out.
I'm having a great time. Don't worry about it. It's all good, man.
So that's not happening?
Not this week, no.
OK. John? 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 John, have you got a brother?
I have, yeah.
But have you ever worked with any of your family?
It's got a bit of a dry mouth for all the chatting.
Am I back on next week?
That's right. Next week, you're hosting.